Welcome to AEW Sessions, and ladies and gentlemen, today we got a good show. We got a damn good show today because our producer has outdone himself after several episodes. Finally, he took things to the next level. He made my dream come true. Okay, of course, we had our National Day celebration 2 weeks ago, and a couple of days back was Malaysia Day celebration, and we're looking for someone or somebody inspirational for the show, and he did it. He brought me one of my favorite racers in town, who's also a fan of classic rock, and one of my favorite businessmen, which I've discovered lately. He is, I don't know, I'm just lost for words, Usually when it comes to this introduction, I usually have lots of things to say, but today I'm having that fanboy moment right now, After years of waiting for this particular opportunity, I have it going on in me. So if you see me blushing, getting too excited, you know why. Okay, first up, let me introduce you. This is especially for all the millennials out there, the baby boomers who think Vin Diesel and esports are the greatest thing that ever happened to the race world. Well, think again, because I have a legend, the OG beside me. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Karamjit Singh, the race driver for the rally scene, and I have this awesome businessman, Mr. Kevin Raj, the CEO of VX Garage Malaysia. Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time to come on board. I know you have a busy schedule, and you actually took some time to join us for the next 45 minutes to an hour. You okay, right?
Yeah.
Totally comfortable? You all okay?
Yeah. Okay.
You should get the producers more drinks all down here to make it more exciting, man. This is good. This is a good show. And like I said earlier, Mr. Karamjit, it's truly an honor to have you on the show, man.
Thank you.
This, ladies and gentlemen, this is the man who was not only the first Malaysian, but the first Asian to win the FIA. What is it all about? Well, you can Google it. Because if I'm going to sit down here and talk about all these accolades and achievements, I might need about 3 episodes to do that, man. This is a long list of things that's been going on. So, first up, we're going to start off with the journey itself. How was it, man? I mean, yes, you might have had these conversations many times, many times about how you started this whole thing. But it's always exciting. It's always exciting to listen to it over and over again, especially when somebody just comes to you and passes you that VHS tape about rally driving. That, huh? Somebody just passes you the tape, and then it starts off with a Peugeot 404, right?
Yes, my father's car.
The very first car. But I need to know, did he ever get back the car? Or was it still around?
Yeah, he got it back. No, the car got stolen actually after I got it rebuilt, in the 90s actually. I think somebody was eyeing it, because I spent a lot of money rebuilding the whole car. And then before I went and bought the road tax. I had the road tax in my hand, but there was no more car. The car was stolen. Yeah.
Ouch.
From the garage, Yeah,
ouch.
So very sad. That was really, really very painful.
Oh man.
Because I wanted to preserve that car. My first ever rally car. Being my dad's car as well.
Oh
so,
man.
Yeah, too bad.
Did that happen recently, or was it a very long time ago?
90s. I think 97.
But then let's talk about the journey. I mean, let's say from that Peugeot 404, and then it continued, right? It was going on to several races and all those. But there's always that particular moment, that particular race that you would have enjoyed the most. Which would you say is the most memorable one for you? Because there's a lot of it. I know there's a long list.
There's too many. Actually, there's so many. Well, I would think that the rally in Australia, when I was actually declared world champion, because I was leading the championship then, and that was the last rally of the year, and I just had to come out third in the rally and be world champion. So yeah. So we drove. I drove. Actually, I was so afraid that I might crash the car, and so I drove very carefully, just fast enough to be third.
Wow.
So yeah, so I came out third and was declared world champion. So that was a fantastic feeling for me and Ellen. Our first attempt as well, first year in the world championship, and we won the championship. Yeah,
that's awesome, man. Yeah. But the thing is, getting into this particular race itself, like I'm going to go sidetrack a little bit or go back a little bit right now. It's like getting into this particular race. How did you know that you were actually meant for this? It's like, because if you're talking about street racing, that's a different thing altogether. Like if it's a usual track, that's a different game altogether. But rally, it's something that it's not conventional, not something that any one of us would do on a weekend basis or something like that. But how do you know that?
It's that video that changed my life, to be honest. And until today, I always thank my friend who got this video from him. He went for a holiday to UK and he bought this video and he said, "Karam, you must watch this. I know you love cars and you love this." And I had never heard of rallying until then. Actually, I knew about Formula One, I knew about track racing and stuff like that. And then when I saw that video and my idol Ari Watanan driving that Ford Escort Mark II, BDA Escort, and the wipers are full speed and it's so slippery and he's just he's going sideways and flat out, full throttle, and watched that video for about 1 hour, and then after the video was over, I told my friends who were all watching, I said, guys, that's me.
Oh, man.
I'm going to become a world champion like Mr. Ari Watanan. Yeah.
But getting into it itself, like say, for example, rally driving is very different from your track driving. It's all about being very alert till the very split second, because you never know what's going to be coming ahead of you. The tracks are very unpredictable. You don't know who's going to be crossing, where is it turning.
Nobody going to be crossing, hopefully. But
I've heard stories that happen in plantations.
The difference is in the track. Like, you've got in the track, let's say you have 15 corners, right? Yeah. So you just go around and around that same 15 corners for 20, 30, 40, 50 laps. Whereas in rallying, it's totally opposite. You've got 10,000 different corners. So no corner is the same, So that's the difference in rallying.
And how did you know that? I mean, how did you train into this? Was there any formal training before you went for your first?
No, I just, a week before I took my father's car, I took my navigator along. That was my friend, was my navigator, childhood friend. And we went to Sunway.
Okay.
That time Sunway was just open area, tin mine open area. So I thought, okay, this is a good place to practice and just feel how the car behaves. And so I drove for about an hour, and then I told my friend, I know how to drive already. So on gravel, So that's it. Yeah.
Because
the next weekend we went for the rally. Yeah.
Because I've heard your conversations about driving this whole thing, but it's always remained a mystery for me on practicing being the person behind the wheels. Because back in I'm pretty sure this is somewhere in 85, right?
Yeah.
Or somewhere in 85, and the exposure, the market, or rather the training, the facilities weren't as much as it is today. It's pretty limited, right, back then.
Actually, rallying was very popular back then.
Okay.
Yeah, and there were, I think, 6 or 7 manufacturers in the rallying scene, with teams supporting the rallying scene, really. Yeah, and I got a lot of help from those drivers who were driving, who were already driving for many years. And so what I did was I watched this video in 81. In 82, I only started driving in 85. So the 3 years that I was doing nothing, I was actually learning the sport. So I joined the organizers. I volunteered as a marshal, aero planter, whatever, sweeper car, just to learn the sport and also get to know the people involved in the sport and the drivers as well. So when I finally wanted to rally, so a lot of them helped me out, in terms of where to find for parts and where to get rally tires and things like that. Yeah.
But was it as easy of getting all these particular tools for your cars? I mean, like the equipments back then in comparison with whatever is going on right now.
Well, yeah, actually, it wasn't difficult to get anything. It's just that the cars. I mean, I bought my Ford Escort for 500 ringgit. It was an accident car, then slowly fixed up the car and put the roll cage and, buy one carburetor this month, buy one more carburetor next month, Weber carburetors, So those days was Webers, and you get it, then you buy a cam, and you buy, competition clutch plate, slowly when you have money, you buy. So I used to take money from my friends and 50 ringgit each, just give me 50 ringgit, and then my boss would sponsor me 500, and my father would give me 500, things like that to go.
Because the reason why I'm asking you all these questions is right before this particular conversations, I was talking to the so-called younger generation, like I mentioned earlier, the millennials, the baby boomers, who were always puzzled on the technology and the advancement of the race driving back then and at this particular day. A lot has changed because, of course, like you see now, people are more exposed and technology is advanced to a certain level. And for you, in comparison from back then and now, how different it is for you as a race car driver? Is it nicer, or is it you're too dependent on technology?
Now is the best time in terms of the cars.
Okay.
The cars are fantastic now. They're really specially built for rallying. And like for my example, my Ford Escort had leaf springs at the back. Like a lorry. Lorry has much more leaf springs, but so the handling was not so good. And now the suspension travel of all the rally cars is more than a foot. So it handles much better, and it's purpose-built cars. So yeah, but I'm lucky I've got to drive rear-wheel drive rally cars, and then I started driving front-wheel drive, and then four-wheel drive turbo rally cars. So I've driven all kind of rally cars. So yeah. So the current generation, they've never experienced the rear-wheel drive.
Yeah, that's the whole idea. Because
Actually, those cars were very fun to drive because you're always driving. You're taking a right-hander, but your steering is pointing left.
okay,
And you're taking a left, and your steering is pointing right. It's always, you're always going, facing the other side. So that kind of driving.
There's always been this debate thing going on between the new drivers and the older ones. Details as such. Okay, well. Okay, I got a question which is coming up in a short while. There's always details on the technology that has been happening. You just got me distracted for a second. For your producer, you're fired. But anyway, before I get there, let's see. Daniel,
that's a good question.
how was the meeting with Ari and all those WRC legends?
Okay, I was very fortunate to meet Ari Watanan actually on my birthday in 1994 in Malaysia. He was invited by Total Oils to, they were launching some oil, and I raced against him on my birthday. Later that night we had dinner with the team. I was sponsored by Lion Group, and we had a nice talk. And he saw me driving, and I asked him for some tips and stuff. And he said, "I can't teach you anything. You are very fast already." And in fact, I think he told the reporters that this guy has a potential to be a world champion. He told them, yeah.
Because you were the man who actually, when there was this particular course that it would have taken you about, say, 3 years, but you have succeeded in the very first year itself. You beat the timing, which you were leading by 7 seconds with most of the races out there. So that's definitely something to talk about, right?
Yeah, well.
For being a Malaysian driver, that when you went internationally and you just marked your name everywhere. So how's that experience for you?
Of course, it was a fantastic experience. I mean, I'm very thankful that I got the opportunity, to actually go out there and drive all over the world with the Petronas Ion rally team, and our team manager, Dato' Razak Daud. I really am grateful to him because he believed in my capabilities, and he pushed me to go all over the world. And he said, "Karam, you go, you can do it." Yeah, and we did it. Of course, when I went to the World Championship, we were very disciplined. Me and Ellen, and we worked very hard. And it paid off. Yeah.
Let's talk about the cars. And then speaking, the cars that you were using throughout this entire course, from back then till this very day. The amount of cars that you used, can you just share it with us? What were the cars that you were driving?
Oh, so many. Okay, well, my father's 404. Of course, it wasn't the super fast car, but it was fantastic handling. The Peugeot was fantastic handling, and then I drove a Datsun 120Y for a year in '86, and then '87 was the Ford Escort Mark II. In '88 was a Toyota Corolla 1.6 XE, and then middle of '88, I got a call from Dato' Razak, and he said, "Come and see me." And then he offered me a drive with the Proton team. Yeah, so I drove for them 19 years in a row.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you've experienced most of the Protons.
Yeah. So I've driven the Saga 1.3, Saga 1.5, then we got a more bigger engine, Saga 1.6, all this front-wheel drive, and then in 1993, we had a four-wheel drive turbo Iswara.
Nice.
So that's when we started going places. Yeah. With
Cool,
400 horsepower, fantastic car.
Man, I know. Like I said earlier, I am super starstruck right now. There's so many things I would like to know.
There's a question.
Yeah. And Karamjit, Mr. Karamjit,
yes.
Could you review my Satria Neo?
For sure, definitely, anytime.
Who's this again?
Mizi.
Mizi, I hopefully can get in touch with Karamjit soon, man. I would just love to ask you to test drive my Wajah, but that's a bad idea. But that would be a bad idea for all cars. But anyway, moving on from
my daily car is a Wajah,
Really?
Yeah. Yes.
See, now I'm proud.
It's a good car.
So for those for those been mocking me all this while, see, he also drives Wajah. Unfortunately, my car broke down today. But anyway, from rally driving, you've also involved yourself with this particular company right now. You are the technical director for VX Garage Malaysia, and we have another inspiration for many of the businessmen out there, or business people who are planning to venture into it. We have Mr. Kevin Raj. Kevin, you started off, if I'm not mistaken, was somewhere around 2011, right?
2009, actually.
2009.
In the industry,
And that time was known as Verve X.
Verve Lubricant. We actually started as Verve Lubricant.
Okay.
Yeah.
And throughout the journey, I've also been told that you had a little slight dip in certain things in the market at the
Yeah.
initial stage of it. But
Plenty
then
of
again, you bounced back huge, man. You bounced back big time. Like I'm talking about 302 branches, about say 62 over staffs, 5.3 million over turnover last year for 2019, if I'm not mistaken.
Last year we did great.
You have approximately about 204 car clubs, or is it more than that now?
I think we should be 220 over clubs.
220 over clubs, and it's 14 states, or shall I say the entire nation, like basically you have it. So please share with us about this entire awesome project that you have, or rather this business that you have right now.
I mean, for me, I can actually relate to a lot of like what Karam said. It's a rally of my own, lah. You know, it's never a circuit racing. It was always a rally. At every corner is different. And since 2009, yeah, like what you mentioned, we went up and down plenty of times. In fact, this year, of course, after the MCO, I believe the entire country, all the businessmen are going through a tough time. We are going through a tough time too. But the journey actually started because back then, after school, what I did was became a salesman. I was selling memberships and in hotel membership. And eventually I got a hang of this making money instead of going to college and stuff like that. So I did not pursue my tertiary education much.
Okay.
So since sales was good, money was good, and yeah, why not? So I just maintained that particular career path. And after that, somehow or other, to cut the long story short, ended up in this petroleum trading business.
Okay.
And that was thanks to my uncle. He brought me into the industry. And after that, I found out a way how to sell engine oil to the workshops and all. So I was a dealer for Petronas, a friend of mine. So I was actually working with him. Then eventually we became partners and did lubricant sales for many other brands along the way. So somewhere at the age of, I would say 25, I thought just like every other 25s, you know, you feel like maybe I should do it on my own, you know. So yeah, a bit of a gung-ho lah. So I did that lah. So that was a bad mistake eventually, I found out.
Well, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, selling was one, and building a brand, running a business, employing people and stuff like that was a whole new ball game. Yeah, now I can talk about it, but back then I was just jumped in straight away and thought I'll figure it out as I go. So 2009, where is the real year that we actually launched Verve Lubricant. So the original name of that company, the original name was Verve Lubricant. And in 2010, we did great. Of course, we had our customer base and stuff like that. We did very well. And 2011, somewhere at the beginning of 2011, the business started going downwards. And we realized that that was not because of the sales. It's not that we couldn't sell. Our products were good. People were buying a lot of workshops. We had about 683 workshops.
That's a lot.
Yeah, around the country. But we were based in Johor back then. And we had problems in terms of cash flow because of collections. It's a credit business, you know, so there has a lot of the flip side to the business itself. So that's the time when I realized that we couldn't keep going forward because we didn't have enough cash flow and we didn't have enough track record to get the funding from the banks or even from angel investors back then. So what we did is I had this inspiration from this one spare part shop in Old Town. So this is a very old Chinese uncle, very nice man. He always gives me a lot of tips about this industry. So I was talking to him and I told him that this is what's happening to me and you know the business is bad, cash flow is bad, can't collect the payments and all. So he said, you know what, this is my spare part shop and 50% of my customers are from the nearby workshops. So when the client goes there, you want to service the oil, they give us a call, our rider dispatch. So this is the real thing, this is how the business is done. Another 50% of the business actually comes from end user.
Okay.
So I believe a lot of people actually went to spare part shop before. Have you been to a spare part shop before?
Oh yeah, I did.
So I guess that's the real truth. You know, a lot of people, Malaysians, we know what is a spare part shop is, where we can get our parts at a cheaper price. So 50% of the market share of that particular spare part shop was the direct end user. So I thought, here I am having a product that actually being consumed by the end user, going through a lot of tears. So what if I can figure out a mechanism where I can deliver the product directly to the consumer? This I'm talking about 2011. This is before the online platform was big enough.
Like getting rid of the middle people.
Yeah. So I went back to my olden day skills of telemarketing since I did that job after school for a while. So I picked up the phone and of course called a few of my friends and said, hey, look, I got some stocks. I'll give it to you half the price. All right, 30% discount, you buy it. Of course, friends and families, they were a bit skeptical, but they were takers. They were takers and I got cash. My first sales was 88 ringgit. the engine oil. And then they said, okay, you give me the engine oil, where's the filter? I say, okay, all right. So that's where the business from engine oil started venturing into oil filters, air filters, spark plugs, wiper blades, absorbers, and a lot more other products. Yeah.
Oh,
so
cool.
basically the business itself was actually driven by the demand of the consumer. What happened, what really changed was, instead of following what the big boys do, I started following what the consumer want. I started listening what the consumer want. Hence, today we have a call center with 40 over people working. So we talk to our customers. Yeah, we can say that we actually one of the companies that have spoken to most of our consumers.
Okay.
And we listen to their complaints, we listen to their suggestions, and we try to improvise as we go. So 2011, when I did that, after the first transaction, then I started rebuilding back the business. We rebuilt all the way until 2016. In 2016, of course, there's a new challenge came in. Since the business was expanding and we were focusing only in Klang Valley, and a lot of people from outskirts, from Kedah, from Johor, from Sabah, Sarawak, they wanted to have the same concept as well, that we go direct to the end user. And eventually they'll buy it and they go to their local workshops, and the workshop will do the servicing for a fee. So everybody makes money and everybody saves money. So that's the concept. So what happened is I was in Japan with my partner and saw this kiosk in Japan. And they sell all these auto parts. And there's nobody taking care of the kiosk. So I thought, okay, what if we can have a similar concept in Malaysia? Of course, that kiosk won't be there tomorrow, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We need to have somebody there to take care of the business. So I came
The kiosk
back.
will have legs.
Yeah, the kiosk will have legs and you know lah. So what I did was I started talking to my call center, and we did a survey. We asked back our consumers, what if you were given a chance to open a spare part shop? Would you like to come into this industry? And it was like 90%, 95% of people said, yeah, we want to do this business. Can we become your agent? Can we sell these products and stuff? But then we realized the barrier of entry into going into any like wholesale automotive business, right? The barrier of entry is very high. You need at least about 200 or 300,000 before you can actually go into the business. And it has its sets of risks. What if we can make it so easy, very, very small and compact, and so affordable that people to come into this business? And we designed our first micro franchise. We use a franchise concept, and we started offering it to the members. So we had takers. So the first kiosk of a spare part shop we sold was about 5,000 ringgit. Yeah, my team said we were crazy. You know, boss, I think something
How do you do
wrong
that
with
for 5,000?
Yeah, of course, we did it with a loss lah. I did the maths after that.
Okay.
Not initially we were gung-ho,
Okay.
so you see, you know what, 5,000 ringgit, that's it.
Let's do it.
design
As long
one.
we do it first
As
lah.
long as we do it.
Okay, good.
And the first micro franchise, we actually fixed it. I was there as well. We fixed it together, was in Pokok Sena Alostar. So it's still there. So we did the fixing, and then eventually the business slowly started picking up. See, this micro franchise doesn't really make thousands or hundreds of thousands of profits. I mean, it's impossible for such a minimum investment, right? But it eventually turned out to be a secondary income.
Okay.
Yeah. So we found out that, yeah, people can actually come into, the interest is high to go into the automotive trading parts. So we tapped into the interest and we created a program. So eventually the business became a program. So that's why we call it a spare part shop program nowadays.
Okay, that's not the common thing that you usually
Yes,
see.
yeah. You don't. It's not a common thing, like. We didn't follow anything. We set our own style, and we just went for it.
Okay.
And yeah, of course, there's a lot of challenges along the way, but yeah, 337 outlets today.
I said,
Nationwide.
this is some of the pictures of
Yeah.
the
Yes.
owners of those outlets, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they're the owners of.
And
it's
the
also
best
there.
part is, just before we came on board, we were talking about starting up your own outlet itself. Does one need to have that full knowledge in the automotive industry in order to venture into this or start off your own micro franchise?
Not really. I would say about 50% of our dealers who's running our outlets, they don't have any knowledge whatsoever about the automotive industry. The interest is very high. So what we do, we guide them. We in fact have
Training.
ladies.
Yeah.
training.
Yeah, we have actually ladies running kiosks.
Successful,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
So you provide the training and the,
Yes.
Yes.
or perhaps the business plan also?
The business plan, we do the constant monitoring, a lot of motivation involved in such a program because we cater for a lot of our dealers. They come from this bracket of B40 and M40s. So yeah, eventually the business model became like we have to train people to run the business. It became fun. So it's like it's no more like dollar and cents as the primary goal. As the primary goal is like if you make money, of course we make money. So it becomes like a whole big a network of a family. Yeah.
So which is amazing, especially for this year, for 2020, when people are having some difficulties in changes of jobs and different
Yes,
businesses.
yes.
So I think this will be a good alternative to venture into,
Yep.
to get into on board. But is there any specific requirements for them to be part of this program?
Yeah, of course. Given the number of we've been running this micro franchise concept for the past 4 years, then we have identified that a pattern.
Okay.
A pattern, and so we have set a guideline of what are the minimum requirements they have. Number one is definitely the interest, and then they must have a place, and they must have a basic know-how of how to run this particular business. So that'll be done in our HQ.
And
training.
how long does this process usually take in
Well-
order for them to get be full-fledged into operating their whole kiosk?
3 to 6 months.
That's not very long.
Yeah, 3 to 6 months. Because from our experience, from my personal experience,
Just a question there. I think
Yeah,
for you.
we get into that.
the concept.
Sorry, where were we now? We're talking about the process of 3 to 6, right?
Yeah, 3 to 6 months is the time. It's pretty much the timeline for somebody to really understand the program and start running it. Because I realize that a lot of people will tend to give up in the first 3 months.
Okay.
Yeah, so those who survive the first 3 months when they have these things like, I think I can't do this, so like nobody's going to buy my product and nobody's coming, So they will experience these kind of things in any business that matter. So if they survive these 3 months, then they'll open up for the next 3-4 years.
Oh, cool. Absolutely
Yeah.
cool.
So the most challenging time for our business development team especially is usually that first 3 months. That's a crucial time.
Nice. All right, now let's head on to the question board. Any plans to bring this concept to the little island down south? Since you've dominated the entire states of Malaysia, this we're talking about Singapore.
Well, Singapore, not yet. I mean, I'm a Johorian myself, so I have plenty of experience of going in Singapore and looking at the market dynamics there. I see a lot of Singaporeans coming down to JB and getting their car serviced. So
Cheaper lah.
I mean, for obvious reasons. So opening up in Singapore, maybe not yet. But we have actually launched our concept in Indonesia.
Okay.
Yeah, last year we were lucky enough, we were working together with Dekopin. Dekopin is actually Dewan Koperasi Indonesia. And through Angkasa, this Angkatan Koperasi Kebangsaan Malaysia, so we were hosted by Dekopin and we did the launching in Indonesia last year. And then COVID happens. So so we gotta put a
It's
hold
on
on
hold,
that.
yeah, for the
Well,
moment.
let's assume that everything is fine. COVID is saying goodbye and so on. The expansion plan,
man.
future plans. What is the future plans for VX Garage?
Future plans, of course, Indonesia, we got to, start back where we left off because the demand for such a concept. Because what we are actually doing with VX concept, right? One is, the main thing we are helping the consumer. Like you have to service your wajah, right?
Yeah.
So if we can save you about 20 to 30%, you would say, at times like this, you would say, yeah, why not? Let's give it a try. So first thing is we tackle the consumer by saving the money. And then we help another guy in your area to earn the income from this micro business and teach him how to do that. So this is the two different important things that we actually focus on. The micro franchise owner and the consumer itself.
Okay.
Yeah, so this particular idea went very well in Indonesia as well. Yeah, so that's why we're going to go back and then plan it out and start back Indonesia expansion
Awesome,
plan.
man. And Karamjit, your particular role as a technical director, how exactly does your role play an important part in this entire
Okay,
company?
my job is to make sure that we are selling quality products. Okay. In fact, when I joined them 4 years ago, 2017, and I told Raj, I said I need to see the product first, So he took me to the factory, and I saw everything the way it's done, and so I was very, very impressed. And then I said, okay. After looking at what we are doing, and then I said, okay. And then we have been, increasing our products since then. We have been not just oil. Now we've got a lot more things. We have even, and they're all quality products. Bosch or suspension. We have Kayaba.
Okay.
And then Nippon Denso, Bosch spark plugs, NGK, all quality products. And even the oil filters are Bosch brand. So everybody knows Bosch, and it's a good brand. And our oils are. And I take care of the quality control of the oils, and we have a wide range of oils.
So which is
From the very 30 years old car to the diesel truck and even buses. We have
even
buses. Even buses we have. So we have all kinds of oil, from mineral, semi-synthetic to full synthetic. Everyone.
Well, what can I
and
say?
all
When
kind
you
of
have-
ratings as well.
When you have a professional who's been driving from both tracks, off-road and on-road, it's like you know the car well, you know what's required for the car, and when you check the quality of it, so that is pretty assuring in order for you to get all those details. But speaking of driving, do you still drive?
Well, unfortunately, this year there's no rallies at all this year so far. The first rally was actually supposed to be in March, and then of course, in the middle of March, everything was.
What was the last one that you were driving on?
Terengganu 2018.
Terengganu, yeah, Rally of Terengganu.
2018 was the last one. And, driving that just now that Proton Gen 2.
The Gen 2.
Can you get the picture back? Hopefully, let's see.
Proton Gen 2.
Gen 2. See, when I have Karamjit beside me, I feel super good of what I drive right now, because every time when you go, it's like, "Lamadi, you went down here," but now it's like, thanks to you. This is a good picture of it. Let's go through a couple of pictures.
That's the car. Yeah.
Oh, this is good. Can you just
Yeah.
slow it down a little bit? Man,
This is Terengganu.
That's Terengganu, right?
Yeah.
Let's go through some pictures, because you had a couple of pictures earlier. Let's talk about the pictures that we have. Earlier they were scrolling through non-stop, so maybe you could just elaborate or just comment on the pictures going on. So I'm just putting the guys behind the screen in the spot right now. This is also Terengganu, I'm guessing. Is it? Was it?
List, I think.
Yeah, I think this is Perlis. Yeah.
This pretty. What else do you have? We just want to talk about some of the pictures. This is also your.
The same car, Perlis. Yeah.
Oh man, this is awesome, man. How did this turn out? This particular race?
Unfortunately, we had some problem with the car, and yeah. But I mean, we were leading, and then we ended up fourth from first place. Yeah. Perlis, no. I mean, Terengganu.
Terengganu,
Yeah.
But drive. Oh, this is another. This is another.
This is
moment.
when we became world champions, and we were sportsman of the year 2002. Yeah.
It's still the same size, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing is. The only thing
You
different
gotta ask
about
him
you from
about
back then till now is the goatee. You really have a.
Yeah, the difference is the goatee.
Is the only thing is the goatee.
yeah.
But you're navigating right now. Who's navigating with you?
Right now, actually, there's a guy from India, my friend of mine who's been rallying for a long time as well, and he's navigated me in India as well. By a guy by the name of Musa Sharif. Yeah.
But that's a very interesting thing to have a navigator beside you. There's always, apart from the driver and the machine, the navigator also plays a very important role in rallying.
So this photo was my navigator was my nephew.
Ah.
Yeah, this is Perlis, Devinder. Yeah, yeah, my nephew. Yeah.
And how do you pick your navigator because you need to have that chemistry to have the right navigator to be in sync with you. So what is your requirements to have your navigator?
At my level, I cannot take a novice. I can't take someone who doesn't know at all. So like my nephew has navigated quite a few drivers in the past.
But what is your requirement in order for you to say, let's say somebody approaches to you right now and said, Karamjit, I want to be your navigator. What do I need to have? Or experience, the level of experience that I need to have just to be beside you, because you don't know ordinary driver.
Well, I would definitely know the person who approaches me, whether if he's unknown, then I'll tell him I'm very sorry. I cannot. I can teach you, but I don't think you can sit with me in the car. Because if he makes a mistake, both of us can get very hurt. So yeah.
Why I'm asking you this, because I had some messages that came in before this. Is like somebody who actually wanted to have a chance to drive or navigate with you.
They can have a chance to sit on with me in the car and have an experience, for going around a track that I've already known. I have a place where actually I teach students how to drive rallying. In Alogaja. It's 3 kilometers long stage, and I know it by heart, so I can take them for a drive if they want to experience rally experience.
Oh, we've got to talk about that. But right before that, here's a couple of questions. Any upcoming rallies planned, and also how did your nephew cope?
This year, no rallies, I think. But next year, for sure, the organizers have already said that they will have four rallies next year. And coming to my nephew, for him was a culture shock, because he's navigating, I think, already 7-8 years, but he just told me, Uncle, you're so much faster than them, man. I didn't know this how fast, So, for him it was a culture shock, but he learned a lot, and he was, every stage he was getting the hang of it, and then I told him, just speed up, come on, keep on calling, the corners are coming,
That's the reason why I was asking you, the requirements to drive with you in particular. It's like, are you a very strict person?
Well-
It's like, are you the kind of person like you don't get it right?
I wouldn't say strict. I wouldn't say strict, but very meticulous. Yeah, because it is a dangerous sport. And to be honest, drivers have died in Malaysia. In rallying, so it's not a joke, lah. So yeah. So
I've
we touch speeds of 200, kilometers per hour in the estate. It's not, and you hit a tree, you're definitely finished.
I've spoken to a couple of rally drivers prior to this, and many of them had different experiences while driving in the tracks of Malaysia. What was yours in the sense of, I wouldn't want to say memorable ones, but weird ones that you cannot forget? Because I've spoken to one of the rally drivers before. They said one of the obstacles they face is when you go into estates and so on, there are people who don't really know that there's a race is going on. They just pass through it, and all some places.
That's not true.
Really?
That's not true. No. The roads are closed, So, you have one or two, in 10 years, maybe you have one or two cases, a motorbike coming or something like that, but not every rally. It is closed. The roads are closed. So, yeah.
So as for you, have you had anything like encounters or any of that sort in your
I have experience, yes. Actually, once I had experienced a tractor coming in the opposite direction, yeah. So that was pretty scary.
To see a tractor.
Yeah. But then even overseas, I've experienced, in India, I had the bus coming in the opposite direction, really. Yeah.
Bus?
Yeah, a bus, a motorcycle, because actually in Malaysia, it's easier to control because the estate, it is a public, it is private land, it's private land. So they and the gates are all closed, and the managers will inform the people who stay in the estate that there's a rally going on, and so it's easier to control. Whereas in India, it is public roads. We are running up in the mountains, but it is public roads. You see, so even though they close it, but sometimes some people don't listen and they come. Yeah.
Oh man. This was the question I was about to ask, and Mizi beat me to it. Karamjit, what is your all-time favorite rally car that you have driven? Okay, if it's difficult for you to name one, at least
I have
one.
I have.
Okay, cool.
Okay, this is to Mizi, right? Yeah. In 1999, I drove in Thailand for the Pro Drive rally team in Thailand. Ford Escort Cosworth, Group A Escort Cosworth. That was formerly driven by Yuha Kankanan in the World Championship. It was a 94 model, and I drove it in 1999. And a Group A car, because I've been driving Group N cars most of my life. And the Group A car is so much better than a Group N car. In fact, a Group A car is like 3 seconds per kilometer faster than a Group N car.
Okay.
See, Group N car is more like the showroom category. The Group A car is super built. Everything is bigger brakes, stronger suspension, more 100 horsepower more, and everything is just so much lighter car and stronger and everything. And yeah. So that was really the best car I've ever driven, and by far, and I won every rally in that car. I found it so easy, it's so easy to drive, even though it's so much faster, but because of the way it's designed, it's a purpose-built rally car, so it was just so easy to drive. And I was driving, and it's also a left-hand drive rally car, so I had to get used to a left-hand drive, and it's 6-speed H pattern, and I was driving all the time. I was driving one hand, and Ellen would tell me, "Hey, boy, use two hands, I said, "No, uncle, okay, one hand is okay. This car is so easy to drive,
Oh, man.
And because you had to because I had to change gears so often, because it's a 6-speed close ratio, so you're constantly changing gears. So that's why I was driving in one hand, because I'm always changing gear.
Okay.
And the car had a quick rack, that means you just turn a bit, the car will turn. It's one full turn is already full lock.
Okay.
Unlike a normal car, say 1.5 turn is full lock. This is one full turn is full lock. So you'd have to turn a bit only. So just driving like that. And the brakes, I couldn't believe. The beginning in the first stage, I was braking too early, because the brakes were so good, the car would just almost stop, So I had to accelerate again, and then slowly I realized I don't have to brake so early. I can brake right at the very end, because the brakes are so good. And then the car brakes in a straight line. The brakes are so good. It doesn't do funny things. So that's the best car I've ever driven in my life. And
Best track?
Best track. I like New Zealand now.
Yeah?
New Zealand.
Why is New Zealand so special?
New Zealand is very flowing roads, smooth, hardly any potholes, very smooth, and it's just flowing. It's on the it's country roads, and yeah, it's very challenging, and it's just the best roads in the world. You have to go there to understand, and why you love the roads. No? Yeah.
Okay, this has been puzzling me for many years. Every single time I meet a race car driver, you've been fast on the track, you've been fast on the dirt tracks and so on. But on an average, on the Malaysian road, what is the average speed that you drive on? Because you're always fast, you're always accelerating in the most. So when it comes to normal road, what's the top speed that you drive in the usual day?
It depends, but I mean, normal driving every day, I follow every rule.
Not even a bit on the highways, it's just like...
Highways, depending, I mean, to be honest, 110 is a bit too slow. I do about 130 lah, honestly, 130, 140, yeah. Yeah, but no zigzagging and just discipline.
But doesn't it make you feel
and
like...
I always use my indicators, always.
Yeah, safety comes first, because it's always puzzled me. You're so fast. You're going at about 200 and average about 200, right? On the rally,
No.
right?
No.
Oh, no, rally
Top
track.
speed.
Top speed at 200. Sorry, top speed at 200, and then you come back to your normal cars. Like, what does it feel? It's like you feel like you're riding a turtle or something like that, right?
Yeah, but normally, actually, after a rally, the next day when I drive a normal car, I want to drive it fast. Because I just driven a rally and you've been sliding all over, and I'm trying to slide my normal car, the first hour of driving, then I relax, take it easy, rally is over, yeah.
But Kevin, how about you? Are you a fan of fast cars? Are you the kind of person who gets into it since you guys have been working together and all?
I would say I'm a bit of opposite. I'm not really a fast car lover or something like that. No.
You go in the average speed.
Yeah, I used to ride. I mean, if you've given me a choice, a four-wheeler or two-wheeler, I'll go for a two-wheeler anytime. I find a little bit more adrenaline on a bike, but that was for a brief period of time. That's about it. Yeah, as a hobby.
Have you ever thought of getting into the fast track for a short brief of time?
You've gone, right?
Yeah, I used to ride, but as a hobbyist in Sepang back then. Yeah, but like I said, it was just a quick, I would say, just lepas gian lah. After this, that's about that lah. Never really went into like a professional racer or whatsoever. I was more focused on my business. I mean, running a business time is,
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Let's get into the question side. What do you have? Do you have any messages up there? Let's see. Okay, the Fulton, this one here, the Fulton driven episode. Were you disappointed?
Well, no, I'm not sure which one. I know I drove the Preve, I think, the race car.
Okay.
I was racing with 3 other cars, with a Subaru Impreza WRX and a Volkswagen Golf R and a Mercedes A45 AMG. So I was driving the racing car, the R3 racing car, Suprema, I think, yeah, a race car. And I gave them a half a minute start up Bukit Tinggi, I think so, the road, yeah. So they were given a half a minute start, and so to see whether I could catch up with them and overtake them. So
I'm pretty sure.
So I enjoyed driving. I enjoyed driving the car. I mean, track car. Of course, the others were super fast. They had 300 over horsepower, and ours was I think 2 liter NA or 1.6 NA. And but yeah, I caught up with them and I overtook them. I overtook all of them, yeah. So yeah.
Show off. But anyway, here's another one there, Mr. Karamjit. In your opinion, which of the local cars is the best platform for rallying?
Question.
Yeah.
I think, actually, the Satria Neo is a very good rally car, front-wheel drive rally car, because it's got a perfect size and it handles very well. It really handles very well I don't know why, but it's such a good handling car. It's so easy for me. So I find it so easy to drive, and I've driven a few front-wheel drive cars. So basically, it's the size of the car. There's no tail. All the 4 wheels are in the corners. So if you have if your rear wheel is here and then you have overhang, it makes it more difficult. But since your rear wheel is here and there's no overhang, so it handles much better. And similarly, the front wheels are as close as possible to the front. So now you notice the modern rally cars, now all the WRC cars, the wheels are at the 4 corners. There's hardly any overhang. And they're all hatchback cars. So hatchback cars handle well, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And then at the same time now we have MEM in UK has built the
Iris.
Iris R5, a four-wheel drive 1.6 turbo. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to driving that car next year for rallying in the Asia Pacific. That's my dream anyway for next year. Get that car and go rallying in Asia Pacific and win the championship again.
Cool.
Yeah.
Let's see the next question. What is the one advice you would give to drivers who would go on weekend drive convoys, say up to Genting or Uluyam?
Well, I would just say you have to be safe, don't bully the other drivers on the road. I know you guys might be driving some fast cars, but still you have to obey the rules and just stay safe. Drive with some responsibility.
Yes, safety comes first. And well, remember now before I think we still have a little time, and just for the benefit of our viewers out there who we're going to go back to the business side of it, which is VX Garage Malaysia. In order for anybody to want to get on board, how would they do that? How do they do that right now?
Yeah, they can check out our website or our Facebook at vxgarage.com. Website or Facebook, they can just PM us, and then our guys will get back to them.
And that's absolutely.
Our program comes from different tiers of income,
Okay.
so we kind of have different program for them as well. And something very interesting happened recently. For the past 1 month, we've been working with another local company. They do the peer-to-peer financing.
Okay.
And it's called Microlip, and we have got ourselves on board Microlip. So through Microlip's platform, that we are able to raise the funds for that micro franchise, and then offer that micro franchise to the guy to open and operate it. So in a way that he gets the funding from the crowdfunding.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a good opportunity for those who like to jump on board.
Yeah, they can check out Microlip, and for those who would like to invest and doesn't want to run that micro franchise, they can also go to Microlip, and then they can buy the shares and invest in these micro franchises as well.
You guys thought of everything, eh?
Yeah,
Almost everything.
That's almost everything.
Almost
but
everything.
most of the things falls into place as we go.
But let's say if I would want to get on board the whole thing, but I'm not too sure the idea of investment yet, or do I have the capital and so on? Is there any solutions, like say for example, maybe a workshop? Do y'all provide those kind of trainings to people to have a glimpse of what you are offering? Is there such project?
Yes, we have another tier of a program that we recently started after the MCO, where we realized that a lot of people who's doing this online business, home-based online business, who doesn't have even that minimal capital. So we came up with a drop shipping kind of concept. So that will be something good for people who doesn't really have the funds, but who's still interested in coming on board the program to join our dropship program.
Excellent. So all these details are available on their Facebook page. That's right. If you're on Facebook page, you can have a glimpse of the things that's been going on. There's lots of pictures, lots of videos, and you have this particular live show that goes on with the Mia also explaining on all the details.
Yeah.
I saw there's some lucky draw which I missed it. I hope
we gave away a bike 2 days ago. Yeah.
Why is it every single time something good happens, I'm always late for it, man? I'm always late for it. But of course, I'm pretty sure there's more coming up for you, right?
Yeah.
So please do check it out. And speaking of website, don't forget to check out their website, which is vxgarage.com. Every single details that you need to know, the history, the products, the projects that's taking place is over there. But if you're a fan of social media, all you have to do is head on to VX Garage Malaysia, right?
Yeah.
On Facebook, the details there. You can have the picture. You see this particular logo, you know the whole details. All right, it's almost time for us to wrap things up. But before we leave, I just need to check with you, Mr. Karamjit. Is there any possibilities in the near future? Two things. One, for me to sit beside you and just go through the track once at least. Do you have a weight requirement?
You know what you're asking for, right?
Yeah, I know. No, because the thing is, there's always, like when you go to theme parks, when you want to go to the slides, I always get rejected. They say you're too big, you're too fat.
You cannot fit in the bucket seat, bro.
Yeah, that's quite true. You can't
There goes my dream, man. There goes my dream. Is there any possibilities that you make adjustment for someone like me to sit beside you?
We can actually.
Sure?
We can, yeah.
Possibility. So I'm going to take it.
Yeah, don't worry, we can.
I want to do it with this weight, man, and then do it.
The car will tilt. Not balanced.
See, these guys who pick on me all the time. But seriously, is that like weight requirements for to sit beside you?
No,
Right?
really, no.
See, listen to this. Listen to all that. Okay.
Those 5 seconds.
I can go on and on like this, get mocked by them day in, day out, but that's what's going to be happening. And secondly, second question, I know it's a ridiculous question. Can Wajah actually go on the tracks, Ready? Wajah? Any
Yes,
hopes of-
we had, Tunku John used to drive a Wajah four-wheel drive turbo in the rallying. Yeah, I mean, I'm driving the standard car, and actually when I was driving for R3 and driving the Satria Neo for rallies, my recce car, my recce reconnaissance car was a Wajah, and I was driving it for like 2-3 years in the rallies, right? And like maybe total of 17 rallies or 18 rallies the car took, and was very impressed with the car, because I was trashing it in the estate. Normal standard car, road car, nothing modified. And the car just took it, So, of course we put the sum guard because to protect the oil sump, so that rocks, if damaged, you won't leak. So that's about it we did. And then I told myself, hey, this car is a really good car. So that's why I went and bought one, Yeah.
For the
No
very
regrets,
first
no
time
regrets.
for all these years of owning the Wajah,
Yeah.
I feel damn good. No regrets. I'm not going to sell that car. Wifey, listen to that. I'm not going to change my car. No way I'm changing my car. I'm keeping that Wajah. You heard the man. You heard the man itself. Mr. Karamjit, thank you so much for joining us. Kevin, thank you so much. Before we wrap things up, is there anything that you'd like to share with the audiences, especially the newbies, the absolutely newbies who's getting into the race world?
Well, yeah, I mean, first thing is, of course, don't race on the roads, yeah. Especially in a housing estate where, kids, I notice nowadays, the younger people, they're still speeding in the housing estate, and, kids are playing and all that, so that's very dangerous, and yeah. So that's it, yeah, drive carefully, and don't race, don't do any illegal racing, and, yeah, that's it.
That's the most important message. And Kevin, please enlighten us. Anything else you'd like to add on to the future participants or other people who like to get themselves involved with VX Garage Malaysia?
Well, currently after MCO, we kind of like expanded our, the market. It kind of like changed a little bit. A lot more people actually wants to try our products, the concept itself. So in fact, we are coming up with a concept of a vending machine as well for lubricants or spare parts and stuff like that. So there's a lot of opportunities for people out there who want to venture into this micro franchise program. So I would say just check out our website and just give us a call and then drop over the office or something, and then talk to one of our guys. We can figure out something. Yeah, as long as you have the interest, I'm sure we have something for that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
As mentioned earlier, all the details that you need to know in order for you to take part or rather be part of the VX Garage Malaysia is available on their website and also the social media, which will be posted in a short while. And it's almost just before we wrap things up, a last one from Kelvin T. Where can someone learn how to rally?
Well, unfortunately, at the moment, I think I'm not really sure, but I used to teach, but right now all the borders are closed, and actually all my students are foreigners.
Okay.
Yeah, well, the locals I did teach about 20 of them, like I think 5 years ago for free. Yeah. So, but maybe in the future sometime, I don't know. But right now, there's no rally school in Malaysia at all. There's no rally school. Yeah, but you could always contact me if maybe who knows
Start
if
a
you're
petition.
lucky.
Start a petition.
Yeah.
Make sure he opens up a
Yeah,
school
so
pretty soon.
Maybe we can have a lucky draw or something like that. Yeah.
AEW team.
Yeah.
Team AEW might start one. We might start one. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much. You've been an inspiration. Like I said earlier, during this whole National Day celebration, Malaysia Day celebration, it's so great to hear stories from you guys. The journey that you've experienced.
We have a Malaysia Day video, right? Did you all see that?
Yes, we'll try to paste it up in a short while.
Yeah, we have a Malaysia Day video. Very nice video, yeah.
And we're going to try to post it up and we'll share it on our Facebook page.
Yeah, please do.
It's so inspiring. Like I said earlier, in order for you to know what they have achieved through the years from 1985 till this very date, the best thing for you to do is Google it. Because like I said, it's a long list of accomplishment, something that some of us can only dream of, but you have experienced it, you walked it, you've been in Malaysia.
Sorry, we couldn't answer all the questions, actually.
Yeah.
There were a few questions we couldn't. Maybe next time we'll answer your questions.
Yeah, we should have one day to start the question first before the
Nikhil,
show.
Akish is there, my bosses.
Yeah, there you go, the whole team.
Yes.
And Kevin, thank you so much for giving the opportunity for Malaysians out there who's
Great being
looking
here,
for chances to start a new career, an alternative. You've opened up the doors for many of us Malaysians out there. So I wish you best of luck in all the future ventures. And I'm looking forward to sitting beside you one of these days in the race car.
After you lose some
Don't laugh! Don't laugh! See, he had to plug it in after I lose 2 kgs. I'm going to make a deal down here. I'm going to vouch by the 6 months from now. That's a couple of months ago. I'll definitely lose weight. Lorries don't rally. That's the best thing we have so far. This is AEW session. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. We'll see you again in a very short while. Tom will be our next guest. And also, don't forget, something special is happening on the 26th. P-Tix. That's right. We're going to have a girl power special. We're going to have Danny Kumari, Ili Ruzana, and Ji Wang performing. This is the Malaysian Acoustic Invasion. It's a very, very special event. It's a P-Tix online event festival. It's going to be live, but you have to purchase tickets. That's right. Details on that will be shared on our Facebook page. Get ready for that. In the meantime, get ready. You have to use the washroom, do whatever you need to do it, because Tom will be coming up next for the live set. So this is AEW session. Thank you very much, Mr. Karamjit. Thank you very much, Kevin Raj. Nav out of here. I'll see you in a bit.